Have you ever looked at an IAP item and thought to yourself, I want it? At first, it's just a thought, a little something. Then you see one or two people have it, and the thought persists, it grows. You start to get anxious, have FOMO, and before you know it, you spend money in order to buy the item. Maybe my words hit hard. Maybe they don't, because you are broke. Either way, they lead me to one big question. Should you or shouldn't you buy IAPs, in-app purchases? Now, of course, the simple answer would be sure. It's your money, do whatever you want. It's your life. Moreover, some people believe that IAPs support the developers of the game, which is also a good argument since Sky is a free game after all. But I wish to dive deeper into the discussion surrounding the question on a more personal basis. Unfortunately, in order to answer the big should or should not, we first need to address the why. Why do we purchase IAPs? And the following explanations are my reasonings, and of course, I'd love to see yours in the comments. Without further ado, let us explore the first one. Whenever you're playing in Sky, you're surrounded by people. Well, to be exact, 8, since that's the current limit. But whenever you are nearby a person or even a group, you unconsciously wish to fit in, to belong. And listen, that may sound extreme, but we humans are social beings. And denying such would be absurd, obviously. So perhaps if you'd buy the latest trendy cape or accessory, they would like you more, look up to you, accept you. Okay, that's a bit too much, but you get my point, alright? And of course, you could counter that with, but Sky players adore moths, and moths don't own any of the fancy stuff. And I agree, that is indeed true. But this video is about why you want to purchase IAPs, and not about moths. It's about the unconscious desires behind your need or want of purchase. So yes, sometimes we buy stuff, not because we need it, but because we think it will make people like us more. Conformity got us real bad. When I first started to play Sky, I looked at one review, and the first thing that the review said was, don't play this game if you have FOMO, fear of missing out. And back then, I only rolled my eyes and downloaded the game anyway. But when I look back on it, I kind of understand them better. I mean, just think of how this game makes you grind and in general how it works with all the limited seasons and items. Moreover, in Sky there's a thing called vets, aka old players, who have played Sky since many seasons and years. And these old players use items on their Sky persona, which are no longer available to newer players who have missed out. And this displays perfectly how exclusivity and perhaps even scarcity can push humans onto impulsively buying things even if they later on regret it. But obviously, FOMO alone usually isn't the reason as to why people make in-app purchases. Instead, let's look further into something more mundane, more vintage. When I asked a friend on Sky why they made in-app purchases, they simply said they're pretty. To which of course I immediately corrected them by saying there they are. After I further interrogated, questioned them, they told me they made in-app purchases because they were a collector. But why do we even collect things? Well, maybe Susan can tell us more about that. Susan M. Purse. At some point in the process, the objects have to be deliberately viewed by their owner or potential owner as a collection. And this implies intentional selection, acquisition, and disposal. It also means that some kind of specific value is set upon the group by its possessor, and with the recognition of value comes the giving of a part of self-identity. But collecting is too complex and too human an activity to be dealt with summarily by way of definitions. And I'm pretty sure all of you guys perfectly understood that on your first try, but if you didn't, well, in short, what she's trying to say is that we impose value onto things we collect. And by doing that, we are also concomitantly attaching the stuff onto our identity, ourselves. So really, the whole dress-up game aspect is there to reassure our identity and perhaps showcase our personality to others. We want people to view us, and we even get to have control over how we do via cosmetics. Furthermore, according to marketing research theories, collecting things itself, be they physical or virtual, can be viewed as an experience or a feeling. Perhaps the simple act of adding to the collection makes one feel whole again, only further deepening the bond to the collection. And let's not forget that the more attached you get to a collection, the less likely you are to let go of it, which is why some people may choose to make in-app purchases. Also, just a little side note, but Freud thinks that collecting stems from toilet training behavior. Yeah, let's move on to the last segment of this video. We are all consumers, and if you look around us, walk in any store, be it one for groceries or clothes, you will see that apparently everyone wants you to buy everything. Even in the virtual world of Sky, the consumption of goods goes beyond our physical boundaries. Nowadays, in almost every video game, you will have to play with the idea of buying something and make what we call a microtransaction, putting money into the digital realm. And why? Because we enforce values onto the items. Sometimes it's because they give the players more functionality. Other times it adds to the experience. But in Sky, it's usually one thing: aesthetics. Just imagine this situation. You enter Sky and you see that a new cape has dropped in the latest season. But sadly, it costs money. So what do? Well, you're trying it on, seeing if it will fit to your player and your avatar, and if it does, then that's great. But then, obviously, you're being led to the question, The one I have addressed in the beginning of this video. Should you or shouldn't you make an in-app purchase? And to that, I can only ask you this. Do you think that the value of this item is worth it? Adds to the experience? Are you sure it's not FOMO? If unsure, wait a bit and then ask yourself again. And what if you're a collector? Well, I'd ask you if you'd really actually put use to the item instead of virtually letting it collect dust. Lastly, maybe you saw all of your friends buy the item and you're feeling a bit out of place. If that's the case, I want to tell you this. Get yourself better friends.